battery flat?
No.
Not yet.
Nah, we're on 100%.
Oh, alright.
Yeah. This is Ryan! This is the guy that owns the S14 that lives at the house. Finally on Gaijin In A Car.
On the channel first time and...
Oh shit. Oh, he brought the stick.
And Ted did?
Yeah, Ted brought a log hoping that we'd take him.
Oh. Sorry, Ted.
Cranking his hog.
Why am I the only one cranking my hog in the Otani?
Yeah, I guess standard questions. What brought you to Japan?
Ooh.
That's the same questions that you got asked at the drift event yesterday.
What, like, in general? Are you asking, like, the first time I ever came to Japan?
Yeah, that works. How many times have you been now?
This is my fifth trip in 10 years.
Fifth, so, averaging 2 a year. Wait, what?
Well,
one every 2 years, but COVID, that.
Yeah. What brought me initially was just the boys asked if I wanted to go.
Who's boys?
Kevin and Shane, the other, my teammates from Bosstown.
Tell us about your team. What is it?
Well, it was incepted as like a car club, and that had drift cars also. And they went on and drove competitions and went to Final Bout and stuff like that. And
what's Final Bout?
Final Bout is like a Japanese-inspired drift competition. It takes place in America. It used to just be in Wisconsin, and now it's all over the country. And yeah, last year they honored me with the invitation to become an official team member.
So you're a Bosstown member?
Yeah, I am a member now.
OG heads of Garage K will know that on the back of the silver van there was a Bosstown sticker.
Yeah?
And
I'm pretty sure I put it there.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, you slapped it on when I wasn't watching and it was crooked. All that time. Is there a Bosstown sticker on the Altezza?
Yeah, you got
there
one.
Is.
Yeah.
Bosstown Garage K, right? I think.
Might be the other way around.
Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, Altezza has a sticker too. I'm not a team member. I just like the sticker.
Part of the club, mate.
Yeah.
Just not
worldwide.
a team driver.
No. Not even driving.
Ooh, the only international member, arguably.
Ooh. That's a bit special. I have a shirt now.
The last one in existence for the time being. So stick that feather in your cap.
Look at the camera shaking around. It's crazy because it shakes that much, but
stabilize?
Yeah, it just stabilizes itself.
But yeah, back to the original question. I came to Japan because, I don't know, grew up liking Japanese shit. Didn't always know that, but realized that real quick when I got here. Oh, this is Japanese? Oh, that's Japanese? Oh, I love all this shit. And just snowballed from there.
So you pretty much came here on a whim?
Yeah, pretty much. Had just gotten out of a long-term relationship and was a bit on the sads. And
yeah, Shane was on the sads as well.
Shane and Kevin, you know, invited me to come because Kevin had just been here the year prior in 2013. And
was that only a year difference?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, Kevin was the first one, you said, to ever come back after 1 year.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Do you know how I met Kevin?
Through Ian? Like
no,
rollerblading?
Through rollerblading. Yeah, Peter.
Oh, through Peter.
Through Peter, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Peter invited me to go skate, and Kevin was there because
Kevin was just on holiday, right?
Yeah, with Ian.
Yeah.
Ian's diehard. He's still rollerblading and doing all the things. But yes, that's how I met Kevin, and then Kevin brought you, and then what happened?
We returned 3 years later for one of the Final Bout events in Mikawa.
Ah, was that okay?
There, and that's where you met PJ.
Yeah, really? That was it?
Yeah.
There wasn't one in between?
No.
Really?
No, it took me a while to get the funds together to come back. I had changed jobs. It's a bit of a prophecy that I changed jobs and then it takes me 3 years to come back.
That really was. So what were you doing before? Wait, so
when I came
we're talking about your job now. So when you came the first time, you were
I was a truck tire mechanic.
Truck tire mechanic.
Yeah, just like on the side of the highway, changing giant tires.
Roadside truck tire mechanic. Yeah. So no machine, just spoons.
Just the spoons.
Just all the spooning all the time.
Yep. Changed jobs shortly after I got back from Japan. Came back in 2017.
We changed. Yeah. Okay, oh wait.
Yeah, became the bus mechanic like the summer after I came back from Japan.
You became a bus mechanic.
Yeah.
So you're trained as a diesel mechanic, right?
Diesel and gasoline.
Okay.
Do
you
it
studied
all.
that at uni.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you changed from a tire man to a bus mechanic.
Yep. Did that for 5 years.
For 5 years.
Yeah. So the other 3 times I had come before this trip, I was just a bus mechanic. Just that.
This is kind of confusing, I think, the way we've kind of gone about this.
You think?
A little bit.
Oh,
so
okay,
you came in your bus mechanic.
2014, I was a tire mechanic.
Tire mechanic.
2017, I returned as a bus mechanic.
And that was Mikawa.
Mikawa. Then the following year with just me and PJ.
Okay,
and
all right.
The year after that, just by myself.
Okay, now we're here.
Yeah.
Right, so you bus mechanic for 5 years. That's hard to believe. What was the distance, the time between the Mikawa trip, which is the second time I met you, and the third time?
That was only a year.
Oh, it was only a year, but you were working as the bus mechanic. How did you get the time off for that?
Just good benefits, good management. I'd been there because I had been there for 3 years at the time, so I had 2 weeks of vacation, and then I burnt all my sick time.
I see.
To stay the rest of the time. Because they didn't really care. Just like, oh, you're not going to be here? Cool, see when you get back. That kind of deal. Small operation. They don't, it's not corporate, so they don't act like, you being there depends on the company surviving or not. Which is kind of ironic. You would think it'd be the other way around.
100%.
But the corporate company is the one that wants you to be there for your entire life.
So it was Kevin and Shane, the other 2 members, well, 2 of the other members of Boss Town.
Yep.
Then you came back with
Kevin and PJ.
Kevin and PJ. PJ is the other member of Boss Town.
Yep.
And that was the Mikawa trip with final bout, the drift competition.
Yep.
You didn't enter. You were just.
We were just spectating.
It's not
it was like a
exhibition.
Yeah, like a spectacle.
Someone still won it though, right?
Yeah.
Who won it?
Abu Moon won.
Abu Moon.
It adds up.
Yeah, that tracks.
That was the year that I ended up with the car, too.
Oh, really? That was the second year?
2017.
I guess so.
We came here, wanted to see Fonabelle, then go drive.
Right, so you organized through the internets to buy a car.
Correct.
Through someone who owned a car at Ibisu.
Correct.
Ibisu. Through a company called Power Vehicles.
Power Vehicles was very lightly...
Well, they were the people that stored the car, right?
Yes. That
so
was
they organize a storage service, and they can do mechanical stuff if you ask them to.
Correct.
Basically purchased at sight unseen.
Yes, on good faith from unsaid party.
Came to Japan, went to final bout, the drift thing, and then after that you were planning to go to Ebisu and drive it, right?
Yeah, we were going to stay for like a week, Matsuri, do the whole Gaijin thing, and that went to shit.
What happened?
We bought the car sight unseen. We went and looked at it with the guy who was selling it, like when we arrived, told us everything was fine. I was in vacation mode, so I wasn't really looking hard enough at the car.
Yeah. In
hindsight, we all agreed, it was cheap enough. I think it was like $3,000 between 3 people. So to get a full S13, that's a pretty good price. Kevin ended up using it one day ahead of me and PJ arriving, and only got 20 minutes of seat time in it, and the head gasket blew. And because, yes, I'm a mechanic, but I was on vacation, I'm like, I don't want to do an engine swap or do a head gasket while I'm on vacation. I was ready to write off the idea of drifting in Japan, period.
That's right, yeah.
I was okay with it. I was like, whatever.
Everybody got really, really sad. And I floated the idea of packing us dudes into the every van with a bunch of tools, heading up there and fixing it.
Yeah.
With a motor swap from Mercury, and that was floated for a while, but there was no commitment basically from Kevin. Really wasn't kind of into it. Well, not visibly into it. And you're in holiday mode. You didn't really want to do it. I didn't really want to do it. I was trying to save the day.
Yeah.
But we were at Mercury talking to Habu-san, and And he offered to rent you. Is that what's your recollection of the events that incurred at Hubberson's? Because I believe that we were there talking about the engine, possibly getting an engine.
Yes, and he said I can do that.
Yeah.
But he said, I mean, we started getting into more detail about what was wrong with the Silvia that we had bought. And he said, well, I have another car. And I immediately perked up and was like, okay, well, let's go check it out. And it was kind of like everybody was kind of like cold feet, like, I don't know, we just got burnt on a car, do we want to do this again? And then he started throwing numbers around and was like, I can rent it to you for X and fill the trunk with all the parts you're gonna break. Very Japanese way of thinking. Or I'll sell it to you for Y. Based on math, I was like, I'll just buy it if that's what you're gonna ask. And you know, consulted with the guys. PJ offered, you know, do you want me to split it with you? I said, you know what, no, let me just do it. I have the money to do it.
Splitting a car that's a real thing, right? Like, yeah,
that's a commitment that can get messy in the end. Because like, if we both want it, when it's time to, for example, if it was time to come back to America with the car, if everybody wanted it, how do you continue splitting it?
Well, then what happened? That trip,
kind of jumping all over the timeline here, but within that trip, we kind of did a lot of sightseeing in Japan that, you know, it wasn't very typical of like what a car person would do. Like, we went to Kyoto and rented bicycles and rode around and shit, and we ended up making our way up to Tochigi, to Nikko Circuit, where we were just spectating because the organizers of Final Bout were renting cars and they were going to drive, and they're our friends, so we just wanted to go hang out with them, and it was really cool to watch.
But you didn't have the S14 yet?
No, not yet. The Sexy Knights were there driving, the Proceed guys were there driving, and we were just chilling, and PJ saw a unpainted FC in the pits that he thought was really cool. It was a really good style car, and he approached the owner of the car. Turned out to be Enemoto, Enokin, who's a good friend of ours now, and said, hey, I'd like to, you know, get a ride in your car. I really like it. It's cool. And he said, no, my car sucks. Here, get in my friend's car. And it turned out to be Tomoya Suzuki from the Sexy Knights. And PJ just blew his mind and went for a ride with Tomoya. You know, borrowed Kevin's helmet, I think. I didn't even have a helmet in Japan at the time. And the up thing, if you ever travel to Tochigi and you don't have a vehicle yourself, you have to take Shinkansen up here, then local trains, and then a taxi from Utsunomiya Station.
Jesus.
To,
what was that, $300 each?
All in, probably. Yeah. Maybe not that much, but because we had the JR passes at the time, so Shinkansen was free, quote unquote.
Free.
You can take a taxi from Utsunomiya Station to Nikko Circuit, but the taxi company won't pick you up.
No,
so you kind of.
Yeah.
And we knew this, but we did it anyway. PJ ended up asking Enemoto if he knew of any way we could get back to the station. Mm-hmm. And he, being himself, was just like, I'll drive you, I don't care. And dude rocks up in the sickest, I think it was an Alphard or an El Grand. Which one's the Nissan? El Grand?
El
Grand on, like, lowered on R35 20s, you know, rubber bands and shit. And all of us were mind blown by that. He drove us to the station. We exchanged lines and, you know, Instagrams and everything. He took a bunch of pictures and was basically just like, it was really great to meet you guys. So that's how it kind of left off.
We went to Tochigi, hung out with Enomoto and all that. You came back, everyone was really bummed out. We went to talk to Habusan about an engine, and then the car came up, and then I think we just, you basically marinated on that idea for a day?
A few days, because I remember my bank was really screwing me over. I couldn't get enough money out at once. I could only take out $500 a day. And I only had so much on me, so it took me a few days to get up to the point where I could actually pay him.
If you're wondering about timeline, go through my videos and find the Scrappuccino video. That's when this was happening.
Yeah, that's the same.
Because he wasn't there at the start of the video because he was out trying to get money.
Oh, okay.
And Kevin was getting a haircut.
Yeah, and I got my beard cut off. Starting in that video, I had a beard, and I had a little bit of a manic moment and had my beard shaved off.
Yep.
Got the S14, and then kind of PJ was like, "Let me reach out and see if we can drive." There was a garage.
Into Nico.
Yeah, there was a garage BB event, and then there was actually a pretty huge event in Tochigi. The Fluke puts it on. It's the Tochigi Bakamatsuri, which, fun fact for a lot of people don't know this, that was my 3rd or 4th drift event ever.
Yeah, and I
had just started drifting. That's why I was so like whatever about the whole thing.
You weren't that die hard into drifting even.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
I had the car. I had my S13 back in America.
Yeah, you got an S13 in America. Not that into drift. Sort of into it, but not die hard.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you own an S14 in Japan.
Yes.
And the first event you're going to drive this new car, which is actually your 4th event ever, or 3rd event ever.
It was the 3rd event. Would have been the garage BB event.
Okay, so 4th event ever was invitation only event
in the Legends class.
In the Legends class.
Yeah, like they did it almost as a meme, it feels like this dude, maybe they didn't realize wasn't like very seasoned, but they put me in with like Koguchi and Fukuda and Tomoya all in this run group, and I'm like, alright, I guess I'll just try not to f this up. And I guess I actually did.
Yeah, you did really well.
Good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Because nobody came up to me in the pits and were like, what the f is the matter with you? Or nobody came up in the pits and were like, we're going to move you to the beginner class. And I think...
Which there really wasn't one.
No, there was. Not at that event. But the day prior, I was so, like... I don't know what the word is. I lacked the confidence. And I was like, I think I'm just going to drive in the beginner class. And I remember you being in the car with me. And I'm like, coming up on everybody.
Yeah, too fast.
And you're like, you shouldn't be in this class.
Yeah.
Everybody's spinning. You're just doing it, but you're just... So maybe you go to intermediate, and then they moved me to intermediate, and PJ was driving in the expert group that day. But yeah, for the Bakamatsuri, that was kind of nutso.
Wow.
Just chuck you in with a bunch of legends. Like,
just get in there and do it.
Okay. And I guess I assimilated pretty well, because... like I said, nobody came up to me and said, you know, like, hey, what the f are you doing?
I mean, if anyone was going to do that, you'd expect the Gaijin to do it, but even they didn't do it, right?
Yeah, no. Nobody said anything.
So I'm just looking for Up Garage because I've forgotten exactly how to get there.
Yeah, basically that was that whole trip in a nutshell. You know, like...
Things just happened, fell into place, and then, I mean, it's almost a blessing that S13
it'd be totally different. I wouldn't have made... I mean, I probably still would have made friends with Tomoya and Enimoto, but I would have never been able to drive with them.
Maybe you wouldn't have. You'd have been at Ebisu.
Yeah, because that car would have only lived at Ebisu. It was definitely not ready to be street driven.
That's the thing about those Ebisu cars, is you just can't take them out onto the street, can you?
No, actually, I don't even know what the ruling is on that. I don't think once it's there, I think it's like if
they've
power
owned it,
vehicles is involved, I think it's just like, nah, this thing lives here.
Because you don't get the you don't get the paperwork or anything, do you?
Because I wasn't there for the actual whole signing shit with power vehicles, I don't know how that works. That car could still be technically under Kevin. It's under Kevin's name. It was. He was the one that signed all the paperwork. It could still be there. I don't know. I assume at this point that was 2017. It's been 6 years at $60 a month for parking fees. I think they probably just absorbed it and used it for parts at this. Yeah, I would assume. I don't know. I would have to ask.
Otherwise, Kevin's got a rather large bill waiting for him.
Right. So I think we all just kind of chalk that one up as a loss at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much that 2017 trip. And then after that, PJ and I had arranged to come back the following year because he really liked how that all went, you know, like getting a street car, you know, because that's what Bosstown is. It's a like basically
cars for the street.
Yeah, it's a streetcar club. We don't tow our shit to the track unless, you know, we're going 24 hours away. Yeah, sure. But if we're going to our local circuit, we always drive our cars to the circuit. So PJ really liked the idea of that and got into talks with Tomoya about purchasing an RX-7 because he's always wanted one since he was a kid, and ended up doing that. And he got one of the cars that they used for the final bout that they hosted in special stay in Japan, in Mikawa,
the previous trip.
Yeah, from our previous trip, and ended up purchasing one of the cars that they used because it was just kind of like a spare car, I guess, from what I understand. And yeah, so he ended up with an FC in 2018, and I still had the Sylvia. We ended up drifting in Nikko again, and then took a road trip from Nikko down to Mobara Twin in Chiba.
I was there for this, right?
No,
I wasn't. I was there at me. You did Mobara twice?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time went flawlessly. It was sick. Second time, not so much.
Yeah. Well, I must have been working. I guess I couldn't get away from work.
Maybe that's
the Nikko, Mobara, and then what did you do? Didn't you go to Meihan?
No. PJ and I's like times don't line up all the time. We lived in different states. We work different schedules. So lately, like, we haven't been able to plan a trip together. I'm hoping the next time I come, I can travel with him again. I think we both hope that. But for right now, I mean, the last 2 trips I've been on, I've been here by myself, which I'm, you know, I can survive. I don't need.
Dude, like because you've done groups of 4, right? That's the most people you've traveled with.
4. 3.
Biggest is 3, and then you've done 2,
and then me.
What's best? Is it better to travel with friends, or is it better to go alone?
It can be. I guess it depends. I mean, if you can learn to, because you don't live with these people normally. They're just your friend, you know? So you might pick up on things when you're staying with them overseas that you don't see in day-to-day back home.
Yeah.
So if you know how to read your friends and understand if they're having a hard time, because, you know, international travel is not easy.
Stressful.
It's very stressful.
You get people get homesick, and
people get homesick really fast. I think a lot of people don't think about that part of it. I get homesick when I get to the airport. You know, I start thinking, oh, what if this or that happens, and you know, whatever. But if you know your friends very well, I'd green light it. Sometimes if you don't know these people, an up garage right there.
No, it's changed. It's a riders now. There's no. I think that the biggest thing for me is that what you want to do doesn't always align with what other people want to do. So
that's where the convenience of traveling alone comes in.
Someone has to say, all right, fine, we won't do what I'm going to do. And if you got a really strong personality, you end up doing none of the things that you want to do.
Yes. And that's, you know, that's where, like, it's always like you just let somebody kind of take the wheel and you're along for the ride, which is kind of depends on who you are. That might be totally fine, or that might be really annoying to you, and you know, you kind of go from there. You know, for all of the weird shit that did end up happening in any trip I've had with any of my friends, like, it's never impacted the friendships that I've had. So I don't hold any grudges. They don't hold any grudges against me. We've all done things, and you know, we're all adults, so you just get over it. You know, people are people. You know, you just got to let them do what they're gonna do, and everybody is going through the same thing. It's not always on the individual, so it's kind of one of those things you have to keep in mind and just let shit happen. And sometimes it works out really well, and sometimes it sucks, but you just move on and you get over it. And I don't know.
So getting back to it, I think we've
covered 2014 and 17.
Jesus.
I mean, we didn't really go into major detail what happened in 2014, but there's a lot of.
Like, what else? What did I miss?
Well, that was mostly just like we toured every up garage, so it wasn't that
I
important.
forgot about that. Yeah,
that's when we met some of the Mercury guys. And etc. It's not crazy. We did see that one cool track that not a lot of people go to, Minami Chiba.
Oh, I was driving for that. We got lost looking for Mulbarra
Twin. We all showed up and thought it was Mulbarra Twin.
Yeah, and we stayed there all day.
Yeah, and it was sick.
Yeah.
It turned out to be really cool.
That's right. Found Minami Chiba by accident while looking for Mulbarra Twin, and it was just sick because you're hanging over the wall while cars are sliding into it.
Yeah.
Kevin and Shane were picking up the glow sticks and waving them.
Yeah. Shane did the old
held his hat out.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a classic short video of Kevin just pulling back just as a wing goes past him.
Yeah.
And then
we did end up making it to Mulbarra Twin at the end of that event. It was like a SOAR meeting or something. We were like, oh, yeah, just the four of us cruising around in the Rasheen.
Yeah,
we rented Rasheen. Best worst car ever made.
Oh, the worst car ever made.
Best worst car ever made.
It's got a short bonnet, but it feels long. It's got no turning circle.
No.
Horrible blind spots.
Incredible vehicle.
Just, it's an engineering marvel. Like, how did they get it so wrong?
An absolute slop box of a transmission turn. Remember, that was your biggest complaint the whole time. You're like, this transmission, I don't know if it's gonna blow up.
I said that about every auto. Even this Hiace, it's 2022, I think. Yeah, and even this, the auto's like, I really don't dig it.
I think that we got that Rasheen because it was so cheap.
Oh yeah,
it's like $100 for a week.
Yeah,
to rent.
something like that. Yeah,
incredible. I feel like the guy
wife hooked us up.
He definitely made his money off of that because nobody was gonna rent that.
Yeah.
You couldn't. He probably couldn't give the thing away. Just give it to Fort Gaijin, they'll take it.
Yeah.
Whatever, we'll figure it out.
You were talking about that you went to... PJ came back, got the FC. You and PJ jumped in the S14, drove to Nico.
Correct.
Picked up the RX-7.
Correct.
And then drove 2 cars down to...
We drifted Nico.
Drifted Nico.
The first day, the first full day we got into Tochigi. Stayed the night with Enimoto and Suzuki and Yuki's all at Enimoto's house.
Yuki stayed too?
Yeah.
She was in the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
5 people in that living room.
Wow.
It was a lot.
That is a lot of snoring. That's a lot of snoring.
And then,
that's a pro tip. If you're traveling Japan, bring earplugs. Because if you end up in a room with a whole bunch of people and someone breaks out a chainsaw before you're fully asleep, and you know you're getting up at 6 a.m. You went to bed at 12, you're getting up at 6, and you need to be, not in a bad mood.
That night, we drifted the day, went out to get yakiniku, got home, went to sleep at 11, woke up at 2 a.m. to drive to Chiba.
Oof.
Because we wanted it to be dark. We didn't, because there was so many Karinamba.
That's a good point. Karinamba is a loan plate. If you ever see the white plate with a red stripe, that's called a Karinamba. I did a video on how to get one of those. It's a bit, it's complicated to do. If the police saw a whole bunch of them moving at once, they might question what's going on here. So even though what you were doing was above board, no one wants to get stopped by the police, because it's just, especially the fact that you're not Japanese, and you're driving a car with a white plate or with a red stripe, they're going to expect you to speak Japanese.
And I have the talents of a probably 18-month-old Japanese person.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
So I think that was a wise decision to travel at night, even though it was totally legal.
Yep. So we did that
just to avoid the hassle,
which was actually sick.
Or driving at night is sick
because by the time it was the morning, the sun was coming up over these mountains, and we're on this super high bridge. So it was all this mist down in the valley around these mountains, and the sun's peeking through. It was very picturesque.
Picturesque.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I like the word, just picturesque.
It was. I still it gives me goosebumps to think about. Seeing that. Never mind the drifting. Just that one thing. my car. PJ's behind me in my rear view. I can see Tomoya in front of me with his car on his carrier, and Yukix is coming up to the. It was just like, what am I in a movie? Like it was unreal. And yeah, we did a drift day at Mobile Twin. Had a really good time. Only got yelled at by the pit staff once.
What did you do?
So Nico is they're a bit lax.
Very.
They'll throw out the checkered flag and you can drift your final lap there.
Oh, you did that. You fell for that old chestnut.
At
yeah.
Mobar, they threw out the checkered flag, and me only having experience drifting at Nico, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna send it one last time then. I'm getting off. And yeah, as soon as I pulled in, there was a dude there waiting for me. It was like, you know, kind of
agitated.
Yeah, agitated, and I just was like, go minasai. I didn't even know what he was saying, and then Tomoya came up to me and says, oh, don't drift after the checkered flag. Ah, okay, sorry. And the guy was just like, and just walked away.
Yeah, I mean, the one time I've been to Moabara, I wasn't impressed. Let's just say that.
It's a really fun track. It's mildly dangerous.
The walls are really close.
The walls are close. It's also really, because it's so short, there's not really a place for you to do a proper cool down lap, I found. Your car can get really hot, and if you don't have your cooling system sorted out, you're not gonna have a good time. Not gonna have a good time. You're gonna blow your shit up. The people with rotaries like Tomoya and Yukix and PJ all had to take much more frequent like cool downs because their cars were getting so hot. Being in the S chassis, the thing just did what it's designed to do, and it
just ran.
It was fine.
That's the thing about that car, is that it's just, most of it's stock.
Yep.
So
and that's what I like.
It just runs. It just runs.
It's not an overcomplicated car. People tend to get lost in the build and build something that is maybe not going to always work. Present party included, even though you didn't mean to do that. It happens though. I've seen it happen time and time again. You're definitely not the first person to do that. You just are like, I want to do this. While I'm doing this, I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know all these mods that a seasoned driver would have on his car, but you're not even in that fucking boat. But just for example, you know all the mods the seasoned driver has.
I'm trying to fix problems before they exist.
Yeah.
I don't want my power steering to overheat, so I've already got the thing pulled apart. Throw a power steering cooler in it. How hard could it be?
Yeah.
How hard could it
depends.
be?
I guess it depends on the person.
Depends on if you're happy with zip ties or you want it bolted in.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a big difference.
It's a week's difference.
Yeah. Especially here, I find here it's a lot more there's not just readily available nonsense. Well, there is nonsense. There's not readily available the shit you want all the time.
That's right. You can find nonsense on every corner. Nonsense! You'll marry my daughter Cersei.
But yeah, no, that S14 is just does the thing. Doesn't need much. Put some, change the oil, put some fuel in it, chuck some tires on it, make sure nothing's loose. Go have fun.
And that's what you get when you buy a car from Mercury Racing.
Yeah. Shout out Habusan. Really just blessing me since the day I met him.
Pretty much. Yeah. So after you went to Mobar and you got in trouble for doing a skid on the final lap, because the checkered flag, well, I suppose it's over with the checkered flag. That isn't the final lap.
It should be, but if they're checkered flagging you while you're at full speed at the pit entrance, how do they expect you to just not send it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's the American in me that's talking, but
no, I understand where you're coming from. Because when I went to Marlborough, I wanted to send it after the checkered flag. I'm still on the track. Why can't I slide?
Yeah, you gotta go the whole way around.
Yeah. So you got in trouble for drifting after the checkered. Then what did you do?
Not really trouble. Just spoken to.
You got in trouble.
Okay. I got in Japanese trouble.
You got in Japanese jail. Yep.
Yeah. Then I don't know. We wanted to travel at night again, so we did the onsen thing. That was my first onsen experience.
Oh, you went to your first onsen?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, getting naked with other men is interesting.
It's interesting. It's not exactly the cultural thing in America, so it was a thing.
It is a thing.
Thankfully, in advance, without even knowing I would need these tools, told me to look at the architecture if you ever go to an onsen.
Oh yeah, if you go to an onsen and you're a straight dude, you will, you'll start to study what the roof trusses look like, and yeah, maybe you'll definitely know what the clock looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like that. No, the clock with an L.
But
if you look at the you take an L.
That's right.
Yeah.
The reason we did that again was to travel at night.
Okay.
Because the drift day ended at 4, it was still daylight out.
Yeah, you went to Yakiniku, onsen.
We went to onsen, had dinner at the onsen, hung out there for a while. We didn't end up making it back to Tochigi till late. I think we stayed there that night, hung out with them the next day, then came home.
Yeah, that's right. You did the tunnel.
Yeah.
Tunnel system in Tochigi.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then we ended up, before the end of that trip, went back up to Tochigi to drift again. And ended up staying there hella late again. I think me and PJ didn't get home till 5 a.m. You didn't even notice that we came home.
Yeah, I was like, if you're coming home hella late, just don't wake me up. And somehow you got that gate open and parked the car without me hearing it. I got up in the morning, I was like, they didn't even get back. Look out the window, the car was there. I was like, oh, okay, all right, yep, they did that. And well done on the end. I can't open the gate that quiet.
I guess, I don't know. Must have been the real gold in my blood.
The real, yeah, we just running on real gold.
Yeah, real gold and 7 stars. I was just huffing down darts on the way back as PJ was passed out in the passenger seat. I think the Bluetooth was like dying, so it was getting all crackly and shit. I needed to stay awake, so I just grabbed his pack of cigarettes and just started chain smoking to stay awake.
It's
the real Japanese way.
It is the Japanese way.
But yeah, no, that was a really good trip. PJ sadly sent his FC back to the States. I mean, it's cool. He has it.
Whatever.
It's a very sentimental piece of not only automotive history, but
because of the
significance of where it came from.
The Sexy Nights connection.
Yeah, but also he got to drift the thing, so it's something he wanted to preserve and not totally the thing. So he sent it home. I think that's why he sent it home.
You reckon it would have got here?
Potentially. I mean, if we fast forward a little bit.
No. Well, I mean, that could happen here. That could happen in the States.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe more so in the States, because you guys are tandeming all the time.
True.
You had people like that dive bomb you.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna bleep that name out.
All right. But yeah, that was pretty much the entirety of the 2018 trip. We also did. You took me to my first castles. That was pretty important. That was something that I didn't know.
That was PJ's second trip.
Yes.
PJ decided to go to Tsukuba.
Yeah, you went to
Tsukuba with Tomoya and Enomoto to just see Tsukuba, and we went on a castle trip
to Aomori.
Yep, that was incredible.
Oh yeah, perfect time of year.
Sakura were out.
Yeah, their Hanami's a little after Tokyo's because they're further north.
Yeah, something like that.
So we got like the best. We got to catch the tail end of like the Tokyo Hanami and then go up to Aomori and see like the real shit.
Yeah.
And it's a very different, very, very different part of Japan.
And the castle was
great.
The
castle was brilliant. All those castles we saw were good, I would say, on that trip. But the one that had the festival, that was...
Yeah, it's always best.
That was really good.
With the ball of... What do they call it? The ball of death?
Oh, yeah, the ring of death.
It's like a steel cage with motorcycle riders doing loop-the-loop in it. Yeah. They had that.
All the steak on a stick you could ask for.
Yeah. Shoe highs for days.
Shoe highs for days.
Passing out on a blue sheet in the middle of the park.
Drunk.
Yeah.
That was the first place I ever saw people smoking weed in Japan too.
Oh really?
There's a couple like.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Like maybe 10 meters away from us. And ironically, which is crazy because of how illegal weed is in Japan, the dude had on a shirt that was just all over print weed leaves. And he happened to be smoking a joint. I'm like, this guy's risky.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. He was having a good time. So that's like the whole 2018 trip.
2018. So what happened? And then 2018. What happened? You were gonna come back 2019, right?
I did come back 2019.
Oh, you did come back 2019.
Yeah, that's the year that we did Nico, and it rained.
Oh, that's right. So somewhere in there, I ended up with an Altezza. Oh, yeah.
We got the Altezza as a rental car.
Yeah, the previous 2018. We go in to see Hubba-san again. And why didn't you have... What was happening with the S14? Why couldn't you drive that?
I don't remember, but for some reason...
Oh, I think we took it to Hubba-san to get the maintenance done. And I made a joke, you got a car for us to borrow? And he goes, oh yeah. And then he sends the lackey up to the car park and comes down with an Altezza. And I just lost my shit. Oh my God, an Altezza. I've always wanted one of these. And I asked him how much, and then he said a price, and I was like, crap, I don't have that much money, but I'll think about it. Then you guys used it for like a week.
More than a week. Yeah, we went everywhere in that thing.
Crashed into a fence for me.
Yeah, I did. I got your first crash out of the way in it.
That's done, yeah.
Put the blessing on it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Not to Know warehouse. That's cool because it's closed now.
Yep.
In the Altezza, got lost in the C2 loop on the way home. Ended up having to take all back roads from, I don't even remember where that was. I think we were in Machida somewhere, and had to take all back roads home.
Well, that's down here, yeah.
Yeah, all the way home. Took us like an hour, easily, more than what was anticipated. Almost missed dinner, but yeah, no, that car, yeah, that was a fun. It was a sweet rental car.
Well, yeah.
And PJ and I kind of incepted the idea. I mean, if you really like these so much, people do drift these. You could do that.
That's right. And it's all your fault.
And that's, yeah, it is. That is.
All your fault.
My fault.
Because
I'll own that.
I couldn't justify buying the car, and they're like, well, I mean, you can drift them. And I'm like, well, and in the end, it was like I found the money and was like, F it, all right, done. So I bought it on the condition that he would give me like a decent seat to put in it. And I think I also said change the wheels.
I was out. Really?
Change the wheels, yeah, because the wheels that were on it, there was something wrong with one of the wheels.
It's not the ugly wheels, is it?
No, the OEM wheels were on the car.
Oh, okay.
And there was something wrong with one of them. My car had a huge flat spot in it that you guys didn't feel, or there was something wrong with the OEM wheels. Yeah, I need a seat.
And wheels.
And wheels, I think, was the condition. And yeah, he said, okay. And he just chucked me the ugliest set of wheels he had in the whole lot. And I've still got them.
Still use those. Yeah, you even brought me back to the airport in that thing after that trip. We were still renting it for that long.
Yeah,
You dropped me off at the airport in that car. That, I think, is probably what gave you like the, oh yeah, it'll make it to the airport. And back.
Yeah, if it makes it to the airport, well, I'll be able to send it sideways at 120. Sure. I mean, that's how you test every drift car, isn't it?
Yeah, right. That's a big justification. Can I make it to the airport and back?
2018 ended. I spent the rest of 2018 and the start of 2019, like, religiously hitting the track to try to learn how to drift.
Yeah.
Those videos are on the YouTube too if you want to YouTube too if you want to have a look at those. So you got back in 2019 and I had a drift car and I was ready to go. So we went to
Fujidori
Park, which I'd actually attended a couple of weeks earlier with Hubba-san, so I already familiar with the track, which was good.
Yeah.
And how did that event go?
That went great. I think the only thing, my transmission started leaking.
That's right. In the end, you jumped in with me, didn't you? Because you didn't want to drive the car.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was exactly that was leaking. I wasn't sure if it was the oil pan or the trans case or something, so I just didn't want to risk it. So you let me take your car for one session, which was cool. Then I kind of got to see what kind of mess you were into, and I was getting it to work. It was different. It's very different than an S chassis. An S chassis is basically like playing the game with the cheats written down right here. You know, you can just do it. It's not overly complicated. If anybody ever says an S chassis is difficult to drift, they're f***ing lying to you.
Well, I was too scared to drive it yesterday.
It's you just haven't experienced not doing it. Once you do it, you're like, well, what the f? This is easy.
Yeah.
I would say the only thing that's arguably as easy is the newer, like a 350Z. I've never drifted one, but I've heard they're very, very easy to drift. But anyway, yeah, we drifted so, Dory Park.
Dory Park, yeah, Fuji Dory Park.
Brought it home for a couple days. Sorted out the problem with the transmission leak.
Yep.
It was just the shifter boot was torn. It was pissing oil.
Ordered 2 of those.
Yep.
Still one in the glove box.
I put that in. Then we went to Nico with Derek.
Oh, that was with Derek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hung out in Nico.
Went to N Style, right? That time?
Yeah, we went to N Style. Did the drift event at Nico. It was kind of like lightly raining most of the day, so it was a little strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I cut my teeth a lot drifting in the rain, so I'm pretty much fine. But for you, it was a bit of a shell shock because you hadn't done it at all yet.
No.
Towards the end of the day, my car started acting up. I wasn't sure what it was. It was hitting like boost cut or something, and anytime I would go to throttle too hard, it would brrr. So I could only like rev it up to like 3 grand. So I stopped drifting. I was just hanging out. Tim showed up, TK. Him and his friends showed up for like the last, I don't know, hour of the drift event. I'm like, Jesus, he had all day to get here. We brought it to Habusan. He immediately knew exactly what the problem was. I mean,
what was it?
One of the intercooler couplers was torn underneath. You couldn't see it. I thought maybe it was like one of my coils was popping off.
That was melted. I remember that. He just pulled the hose off.
Yep, cut it.
Yep.
Cut up a new one, I think, and just slipped it on. And
and we're still running with that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Shit works. Yeah, and then we went to Mobara the following day. I think it was like the 3rd session of the day. Just 2 in my head.
And 2 in your rear view mirror.
Yeah, looking at my rear view mirror.
Because I was there.
An old greenhorn over here. Worrying if he's going to crash into me. And
I wasn't.
And he wasn't, to his credit. But
I'm not here to flex.
Yeah, but he didn't crash into me. I crashed into me instead. I was too busy looking at Dave. Got into at Mobara, I call it the gauntlet. It's got like all the padding down at the far end of the track.
Yeah, it's
the main turn where they do all their comps and stuff. And I got a little too far into the skirt of the gauntlet and must have picked up some rubber or something and instinctually stabbed the brakes, and it sucked the car straight into the foam barrier, which
didn't even damage it.
Did more damage than I thought it would.
No, it didn't damage
the barrier.
No, yeah, it didn't damage the cushions that you crashed into at all. Didn't tear the blue covering. Yeah. There was no foam popping out. It you just went pop straight into the back of it.
Do you still have the picture of me from one in the picture?
I have it somewhere. Yeah,
I'll resend it to you. You can insert that here somewhere. It was all pushed in.
But yeah,
I was a bit on the sads after that.
And apparently, the more times you hit the back of a car, the weaker it becomes, and the softer you hit it, the more damage you'll get. That's what Tanakura-san said.
So only hit it really hard next time? Is that what he's trying to say?
No, like even if you hit it really softly next time, it's still going to do even more damage.
Oh, good.
Because the metal just gets weaker from being hit over and over again.
Yeah.
You ruined the trunk. Ruined the wing.
Oh, the $20 wing.
Yeah, Bakamatsuri we were talking about before. They've got like people bring used parts and stuff and flog them off, and he picked up a Koki wing? Yeah. Koki wing for $20. Yeah. Just bolted it on.
Sylvia K's wing, which in today's market is like $800. And even then they were like $300. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy one. I'll probably never find one. I'd have to get it on Yahoo, and I couldn't be bothered. And lo and behold, Dave goes, well, what is that? Will that fit? And it was the exact wing for my car. I still drove it home from the track.
Yeah, drove it home from the track. Did we stop by Daikoku on the way home? I think we did.
We did, yeah, with the crashed car.
With the crashed car, pulled into Daikoku. Got some photos of the front of the car.
Yeah.
Next to the Altezza.
Yeah.
Yeah, drove it home, parked it, and then we're like, how many days did you have left?
A good amount. I think I still had like 10 days left at that point. We went back to Tochigi after that to hang out with Enomoto and Suzuki, because that's when we went to Koguchi Power.
Took the car back to Tanakura. Tanakura is a paint shop that's very close. Took the car over there. That was in 2019. So the events of 2019 combined with the fact that you got a new job.
Yes, delayed. Was going
to delay the 2020 trip, and then COVID hit.
Yes.
And then you couldn't come back.
Which was probably a good thing.
You needed to stay at your job longer to get more holidays built up, because there's no point coming to Japan for 2 days, is there?
No, not at all. That would be an absolute waste of time.
What do you think's the minimum?
I would say you'd have to have 7 days for sure.
7 days minimum.
Because the adjustment period of like the time difference is a bit of a sneaky one, especially if you're new to traveling.
Any advice for people coming to Japan? Well, because you said that this time you didn't sleep on the airplane.
No, I didn't. And I think at first it did a lot for me in the first few days, but I think it's just going to catch up with you no matter what, depending on what part of the world you're from.
The jet lag, yeah? If you're coming from Australia, you'll be fine. Just
yeah. Any other advice? Don't be like me. Definitely try harder than I have to learn some Japanese.
Oh, really?
Because you won't always have somebody there to bail you out. You don't have to know a whole lot, but some basics is good. I know a bit more than I did when I first arrived. I first arrived knowing absolutely nothing, and if I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have gotten anything done. You at least want to be able to ask where the toilet is, kind of know how to order your food.
Having said that, I feel like you can get a lot done without.
You can. You see me do it almost every time. I do get a lot done without, but it would definitely have its benefits to know even 5-10% more Japanese than I know. Like, I can hardly count. So, like,
yeah, knowing numbers
is a big deal. Another thing about Japan is not to set your expectations too high.
Oh, really?
There is always something to do, but it might not always happen, and you have to kind of be okay with that.
Give us an example.
Say, for example, the first time we came, you know, Shane worked at Honda at the time. He really wanted to go to the spoon factory. Zero research, just assumed it would be open. Rock up on a Tuesday afternoon, shut.
Yep.
So don't always expect it to
Never
work
assume anything. Even like castle trips. You know, some castles are closed on a Tuesday, some are closed on a Monday. How do you find that out? On the website. The website's not in English, so I mean, nowadays is a lot easier than when I first got here, because
Google does do a lot.
Google does a lot, and Google Maps does a lot.
Yeah.
Google Translate, Google Maps, all those things really do a lot. Yeah, so if you come now, you're kind of spoiled in a way.
Yeah, a bit. It's changed a lot too, and I hate to sound like that, but you know, my first time being here almost 10 years ago now, it seems a little different.
It is.
Some parts good for the better, you know, like when I first got here, you couldn't just expect to see a menu in English even at a restaurant. Sometimes you would run into it, but not very often, and now it seems like everyone I go to, all the restaurants are on digital menus, and you can change it to English 90, except for that one izakaya we went to with scroll menus.
It was just a stack of paper with handwritten
calligraphy
on it. Oh yeah, even I couldn't read it.
It's a very interesting country, and you know, I'm very happy to continue.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah, I feel blessed that.
Oh Jesus. Oh, that's a cheap Altezza.
8,900 quid.
And a whole bunch of NA Miatas. Just a whole bunch of nah.
I feel very, like, you know, fortunate to be able to do this, you know. It's not something I ever dreamed possible. Like I said at the beginning of, you know, this, it was kind of just thrown together on a whim, and I happened to just become, you know, a little bit of an otaku about it. You know, you're not gonna catch me, you know, sleeping at a manga kisa, but
why not?
Oh, I don't know. I guess
no need.
Yeah, no need. I guess if I had to, I would. Yeah, I don't know. There really is something for everybody here, and that's what I think is really cool. You know, you can be into the most obscure shit, and you'll find somebody that likes this.
It's kind of like the internet.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a bit like a theme park at times. It can feel really like AI generated almost. Like, well, like even my first day here, and that could just be the lack of sleep and like
this
the
time,
jet lag.
or,
Yeah. When we went to that rush, it's just for the first like 14 hours, it just everything felt like it was a f***ing theme park. It's like we drive down this crazy wooded, like wild street with crazy themed loved hotels up into that restaurant that was like,
it's a village.
Yeah,
the restaurant's a village.
Yeah, the restaurant's a small village. And then it's like a f***ing Miyazaki film at the end where they shut all the lights off and start throwing fireflies. Like, I just don't, you wouldn't really find that anywhere else. Like, they've literally, it's like they've 100%ed life. They just, there's something for everything, for every occasion. There is always something. There's a thing, there's like a slang, Japanese slang term for like anything. But yeah, this trip, this was cool. It felt really good. It felt refreshing. You know, I've just been working, so I haven't had a lot of time to relax. I work and I go home and I go to sleep. So this was a really good break that I needed. I feel like for the short amount of time I'm able to be here, we got a lot of things done.
Oh, so yeah, so we've covered all the trips, like
all the trips until this one. Yeah,
you got your new job, and then you couldn't come because of COVID. COVID ended, and then it was
J30 rare.
Okay,
interesting.
Wow, it's really sad at the back.
A bit of a sad bit.
Yeah, got your car, was remarkably ready on time.
Yeah. I mean, we were literally going down to the days of like, I hope.
Yeah.
And it all just came together. Sometimes, you know, I'll errata what I said before. You know, sometimes Japan just has a way of delivering for you, but not always. Sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes it just works. And I don't know if that's just my outlook on it. Maybe I'm just lucky, as Dave would say. Maybe I'm just kissed on the by an angel. I don't know, but sometimes he'll watch me do shit, and it's just like, how the did? Okay, I guess.
How did that happen? Why did that happen? How did you manage to pull that off?
Yeah, this trip's been great. I'm very happy to be here. I had a great time at Nico again.
Well, you didn't even talk about that.
No, I mean, I drove 2 days at Nico this past week.
So what have we done so far? We've you arrived, and then we went to the restaurant that's basically a theme park.
Yeah.
And you ate koi.
Yeah, I ate koi.
Yeah, koi fish. Sashimi.
Never thought that was even a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing either.
But there's a thing for everything in Japan.
There is a thing for everything. And then after the restaurant, we went home for about 30 minutes. And then we drove for 5 hours down to like Gifu so that we could see Naigijo in the morning.
Yep.
Then we drove to like Lake Biwa. Around that, saw a bunch of different castles.
We did the onsen.
We did not. Yeah, we went to onsen. Nathan Brown was with us. If you want to know who that is, he was in a previous Gaijin In A Car. He was with us, and we did we went to Takedajo.
Yeah, my favorite castle in Japan, in case anybody was wondering. Takedajo. It is not
what you'd expect.
It is not what you'd expect when I say castle. It is more castle ruins, but it's pretty surreal depending on the time of year you catch it. You can see some really beautiful sights up there. You get a great view. I mean, mountain castles are sick because you know it's like a battle to get up. Oh,
cappuccino.
Is it EA11R?
No, in that color probably. You can't tell from the outside. Oh, actually, you can. You can from the wheels, but I didn't look.
Yeah, the castles are dope. Japan is not only their automotive culture. That is one thing I've taken away from all the time I've spent here.
There's so much more to Japan than just cars.
Yes, and based on the last hour Dave and I just had,
Dude's gonna drop some bombs. Ready?
Skip Up Garage.
Oh, there you go.
It is not what it seems. It is overpriced junk, always.
All the junk, all the time.
The
it
days
used to be
of,
good.
Yeah, the days of finding a $10 Nardi are gone.
And you know it because you did it.
I did it. I did it twice. I got a $10 one, and 3 years later, I got a $100 one, and that was it. I have not seen a reasonably priced item in an Up Garage. Period. Yep. I think their online presence has ruined the store. It is another theme park, pretty much.
Yeah.
It is.
It's not just Karuba that's ruined it. It's people from bases and tourists coming in and paying outrageous prices. Oh, this is cheaper than back home. Yeah, but it's not cheap for here. And that just pushed it up. Before, I think they were buying stuff cheap and then flipping it. They're making a little bit of profit and flipping it. Now they're buying it cheap and then sitting on stuff because they know someone's going to come in and pay it eventually.
Yeah, and they don't care how long it takes.
Yeah, that steering wheel, that OEM steering wheel from a Daihatsu, who f***ing knows, for $200. Yeah, someone will buy that eventually. Positive mental attitude.
The old PMA.
PMA.
It's a great thing to live by. There's a book about that.
Shite.
Anybody?
It was an MMA gym.
Anybody who's ever listened to Bad Brains or the Cro-Mags, because I'm getting real niche here.
No idea.
They are very about the PMA, positive mental attitude. It can change your life. Check it out.
Positively massive anus.
Or that.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Also check it out and change your life.
That would.
But yeah, that's my big hot take of all the hours I've spent in Up Garages over the last almost 10 years now. It sucks now. Don't do it. It's just a waste of time. If you're with people who aren't into cars, definitely don't do it. Even if you're with people who are into cars, maybe check out one. If you're in a really obscure location somewhere in Japan that is not Tokyo, sure. Pop into one Up Garage, check it out.
Don't bother with the one at Machida. Well, that's the one we just went to. That's the one that everyone goes to. It's just junk.
There's certain people on the internet who overhype the shit out of it, and it is not that cool. And take this from somebody who is also not that cool. Not that cool. You're not gonna find anything. You're gonna find some doodads that you're gonna take home and sit on a shelf because you thought you could use it, and because you don't know what you bought, you'll come to find out it doesn't even fit in the first place. So just save it. Don't even do it. Check out a smaller store. Find an iParts.
iParts.
That'll blow your mind. That is what is like Up Garage used to be.
I agree. iParts are few and far between, though.
Still, that's something to do. That is an adventure in itself. Because to find one, you gotta get out there and do it. And Up Garage.
And now it's easy because you just Google it.
Yeah.
Before it wasn't. You had to know where they were.
Up Garage isn't gonna do it for you.
No.
I can almost guarantee that. Unless you're like a super weeb, then do it. Don't listen to me. I'm not that important, so you don't have to take what I say. But
how many do you think we did that first trip?
All
like 14? Yeah, we did all of them.
I think almost every day I was here, and I was here for 20 days. We did an Up Garage.
We did a lot of Up Garages.
And sometimes we would do 2 or 3 in a day.
Yeah.
And how many things did I buy?
Oh, I never buy anything from Up Garage.
I think
because never got anything I want.
Between the 3 of us, I think we maybe bought 10 things.
Well, today I found something that I thought I might buy. Spindles or knuckles for the Altezza, but
yeah, the
$100
and the wheel bearings.
And both wheel bearings were rooted. Like, you have to throw $100 at them to get get them functioning again. What's your favorite snack from a conveni?
Ooh, I mean, I have a new mantra: is if I see big, I buy big.
And that's the super big choco.
Super big choco or super big katsu. It applies to both.
Yep.
They're both good. They're two very different snacks.
This is where we cut to a shot of us eating them.
Yeah. Super big choco is like almost guaranteed. It's on site. I'm buying it.
What do you reckon, pizza man or curry pan?
Ooh, if you had asked me like 5 years ago, I would have said pizza man. But these days, I'm more on the curry pan.
Curry pan is a good. It's a staple.
Do you rate the Nikuman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a street in Yokohama, it's like Chinatown, and it's just like 50 different Nikuman.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta check that out.
Went there with the wife, and it was like, let's challenge to eat all of, and you know, we made like 3 shops, and I was like, no, I can't eat any more of this shit. Too full. Because they're not the small, no, you get these giant things that...
You still rate the size area?
No, they size area is it was really good, cheap shit, but you knew it was shit and you just dealt with it because it was a good feed. Plus they had 100 yen glasses of wine, so you just get f***ed up and full for 30 bucks. But they took everything I like off the menu. They had this cheese focaccia, that's gone. They had a arrabbiata, that's gone. They put, what did they put in it? They filled it full of anchovies, I think.
Oh.
They put anchovies, and it's just ruined it. The pizzas, they had these mini pizzas.
Yeah, that's what I used to get.
Yeah, they did something weird to those too. You can't just get like a little salami pizza anymore. You have to get something with weird shit on it.
They don't just do like the...
I think they do cheese.
The buffalo cheese anymore?
I think they do cheese, but yeah, like once the arrabbiata disappeared from the menu, it was like,
why am I here?
Yeah, I'm coming here for mini pizzas. Like,
I'll just get a real size pizza.
Yeah.
I'll spend the $30 on a Domino's pizza.
Oh, no. That's some other advice I give you is don't spend money on Domino's pizzas. Like, seriously, we were doing that for the longest time, and then we went to visit wife's brother, and he whips out a
frozen pizza?
Yeah, just a frozen pizza, and just does a bit of a on the top of it with some extra toppings, and then put it in the oven toaster. Holy shit balls.
Way better than Domino's.
Way better. Way better. And like the thing is with pizza is that even if it's like pizza is like sex. Even if it's bad, it's still good.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that old adage before.
So, you know, Domino's is not mind-blowing pizza to begin with.
No.
So if you get, you know, if Domino's is good enough,
I think Domino's is like if I'm if I'm drunk or high.
Going off that why spend 40 bucks on one pizza? You could get 10 pizzas for 40 bucks or more, depending on the pizza.
Yep.
Throw a bit of extra cheese on it, you know, a little $1 pack of salami per pizza. Maybe jack the price of your pizza up to 5 bucks. Chuck it in the oven toaster, and you just smash them until you're full. You can't eat anymore, and you haven't spent 40 bucks. Not doing Domino's pizzas anymore. Sorry, Domino's. You want to sponsor me? I'll start eating your shit again. Otherwise, get.
Here's a question for you as a non-YouTuber. Do you buy into the Japan is a YouTuber's paradise thing?
It depends on what you want from YouTube. If you want cred, oh, absolutely. There's lots of things. I could get out here and make a video with if I could come up with some kind of clickbaity title and a clickbaity thumbnail. Absolutely. There's a video to be made right here, unveiling, like just happening right in front of us. The police are escorting some dude with his family up the street. Why? There's a white building there with red domes on top of it. Why? There's a video to be made on in every street in Japan. So is Japan a YouTuber's paradise? Absolutely. if you don't give a shit about what you're making, all you care about is the views.
Yeah.
And you can see plenty of that all the time on other channels.
Yeah, yeah.
Car related or not.
Yeah. All right.
There's a guy that makes videos. He gets off the station, he has a chest mount, and he just walks from this station to that station, and that's all it is with music.
And it could be nothing happens, or it could...
Yeah, no, nothing does happen. He just walks, and he's a popular channel. To be fair, it's not that bad to watch because I guess it's kind of calming. But
it's almost like the lo-fi hip-hop study channel of just nothing. You could just put it on.
Yeah.
It could be background, and if you pay attention, you do, and if you don't, you don't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Book Off Plus. Well, that's better than Up Garage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the secondhand market is really cool in Japan. I just don't think it's the car parts secondhand market. I would say you're better off just looking at Yahoo Auction.
Yahoo Auction
finding
is
a broker.
Domino's.
Talk to Dave. Talk to whoever your broker is.
Don't go through Buyee.
Don't go through Buyee.
Just
don't go through Buyee, especially then hit him up. That's stupid.
Worse, yeah.
That is stupid. That is how you get shut off.
I had to take a back seat from all that part stuff because just people. The best part of going back to Up Garage again, but the best part of Up Garage is the fact that they have Kruber and you can find stuff on Kruber without having to go to the shop. However, there's 100% something to be said for finding something in the wild, walking into a shop and going, they've got one of these, and then buying it.
It's rare to happen these days, though. That's why I say it's almost a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't here, we wouldn't have gone to Up Garage. It's like people ask me, when are you going to Up Garage, Dave? Never, because why?
Yeah.
I would have bought a cheap steering wheel today if they had a $50 or under steering wheel that wasn't just complete trash. Oh geez, that guy had some cool cars. Had some trash too. American junk.
There's a lot of that.
There is a bit of it, yes.
The Japanese love it though.
Some people do, yeah.
I'm surprised. It's actually kind of surprising.
Why? People here think it's surprising that you guys love, or that we love Japanese cars. Look at this. Yeah, see? That's a video right there. That's a video. Do you see it?
Yeah, this is
like a misty grove, just a valley.
Yeah, there's like an apple orchard right here.
Yep. Why is there an apple orchard right there? Go talk to the owner. 5-minute video, 7 minutes, 10-minute video, just there. Easy. If you don't care what you're making. Massive garage there. Go talk to the owner and ask him why he has a massive garage. Walk up that street there, just walk up it and then comment on things that are on the side. There's an old house there, there's a little abandoned, yeah, easily 10-minute video. If that's what you're into, that's what you want to do, get it as clickbaity and as cringy as possible and send it.
Make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Or hundreds of thousands of yens. Depending on how good your videos are.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of yens, not a lot. You need millions of yens. I haven't even made tens of thousands of yens. Look at this, what the f? Why is this in the middle of Tokyo? It's just a rice paddy with a, why? On some random gaijin on the side of the road, doing what we just said. I've never been through here before.
No, we missed that turn, now we're taking the...
Oh, we ended up back on the road.
Oh, okay. I thought we were on the roads less traveled here.
Oh, we are a bit. It's the one Google wanted us to go down.
Also, Google's been here, so it's traveled.
Yeah, Google's been here. Yeah, follow Google Maps too, because it will take you down some interesting shit. It's like a half pulled apart parts car of a Jeep. Like an old Jeep, no roof.
You know what we still haven't done? The buy a car, sight unseen. I mean, I did it. Like
so did I.
And drive it home.
I did.
Oh, you did?
The white van.
No, we didn't do it.
Oh, we didn't do it.
That was the challenge.
Yeah, well, I need to get rid of a few cars before I can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm thinking about getting rid of the white van. I know where we are. Let's do this. Quit following them, because they're slow. Yeah, I'm just busy doing other shit. Altezza takes up all my time and all my money, and I have very little of both of those things these days.
That's a new one I just started noticing.
What?
Can Do 100 yen shop versus Daiso.
Can Do.
Have you been to the Can Do?
I have this one at Minamino.
Yeah, I noticed it there.
It's inside Homac.
Better than Daiso? Same?
And they all have the same shit with different bucket, like, it's all similar sort of stuff. Is one better than the other? I mean, no, not really. You might go to Daiso and not be able to buy the piece of shit that you want, but you'll go to Can Do and they'll have the piece of shit that you want. But you go to Can Do and they don't have the other piece of shit that you want, you'll have to go to Daiso for that.
To get that, yeah.
So what do you reckon? What are our plans for the rest of the trip? Just gonna hang out?
Just hang out. I gotta do a donkey run, and that's about
Don Quixote. Well, I mean, we could do that today as well, really. Get your dream box. It's like a daycare thing called Dream Box.
Yeah, that's a bit. It's like the sloppy we had yesterday.
Oh yeah, the old sloppy.
They just don't. They don't know what they're saying.
Yeah. Just put two English words together and off you go.
Send it.
Shop had "Buy Your Fashion" written on the outside of it. It's very, very easy in Japan to be driving around. You make a turn in an area that you know very well. You make a turn and then you have literally no f***ing clue where you are. That's an interesting thing that I kind of discovered yesterday, is that don't ride off grassroots people that can make it round the track. If they make it round the track sideways, go for a ride with them. You'll probably make their day for one, and for two, things happen slower, so you'll actually learn more, I think.
Yeah.
If you just want to have a good time and have a story to tell, get a bit of cred, then yeah, by all means, jump in with a pro. Anyway, we've arrived at our next destination, so
we're gonna wrap it there.
How'd you get into drifting?
They started bringing me with them to events in 2011, I think. And I think just because like Shane and I went to tech school together, and you know, we're all just friends, and they knew I was into cars. They were just like, you want to come check it out? I've always appreciated their cars. And that led to me at one of the old organizers that we used to go to, like, there wasn't a lot of staff. There was only like 2 dudes running it. So I would like kind of volunteer to like help run the line and stuff. So I kind of like got used to what it was like watching people go, learning like the timing, because it's run totally different in the States. You know, the way they do it here is super efficient. Back home, it's all a bit. So I got to learn like how the efficiency worked, like the way they did it.
How it doesn't work.
Yeah, how it doesn't work. The lack thereof, I should say. And I would go for ride-alongs and stuff. And then during the winter, I had my Subaru then, so I would like, you know, I'd try it out in parking lots and shit in the snow and just see if I could have a go at it. And I remember specifically one memory I have of me and Kevin were going somewhere, and he's like, oh, you're gonna try to drift this corner? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I did it, and he was like hyped, and he was like, geez, I didn't know you could actually do it. And I was like, oh, all right, well, yeah, maybe I should look into trying this. And we ended up going to the first final bout together. Like, I just was kind of like
the first one.
Yeah, the original one in 2014 after our trip here.
So you're old hat.
Yeah, a little bit
at the old final bout.
I went with Kevin obviously because I wanted to go support my friends, but also like to give him a hand if he needed anything.
Being a mechanic and all.
Being a mechanic, I helped him find the truck that we took out there, and he ended up buying it, and it was great. Being a truck mechanic specifically, I was like, oh yeah, that's a good deal. It's short money. It's a diesel. You know, you're gonna get way better fuel mileage than the guys with the gas trucks. You won't have a problem pulling a 240. Do that. And when we got back, he had sent me a link to a Craigslist listing for a 240, and it was the right amount of money. And he was like, you should buy this, even if it doesn't run. And we went and checked it out, and I bought it, and that was it.
The rest was history.
Yeah, the rest was history. It took me like a year to get all the things I wanted to do into the car, you know, get the engine that I wanted. Not engine I wanted, the engine I needed, because the one that was in it was up when I bought it.
Prius.
To put coilovers in it, these suspension arms, do the clutch, get a drive, like a one-piece drive shaft, put a welded diff in it, and a seat.
Is all that stuff necessary to drive, or is that just stuff that you wanted to have?
Just stuff I wanted to have. The only things really necessary to drive.
Bucket seat, right?
A bucket seat. You should have a steering wheel you're comfortable with. You can make a stock wheel work, but a nice aftermarket wheel really gives it more of the track presence. You want to have some form of diff. You're not gonna do it with an open diff.
Open diff is a waste.
In the States, a lot of people do a welded diff because it's a very easy introduction to it. It virtually functions the same as a two-way, but a two-way gives you the ability, depending on the setting, to unlock the diff, where a welded is never unlocked. It's just on all the time. The drive shaft was totally not necessary. I just did it because I could. Coilovers are a good thing to have.
Again, not really necessary.
Not 100% necessary, but you know, if you want the car to handle a bit better, it certainly ups the handling. And plus, you know, like drifting is kind of like a rolling car show, so you want your car to look somewhat presentable.
Well, why don't most of them look presentable then? Most of them are missiles.
You mean here?
Yeah, well, in the States too. Well, not Final Bout. Final Bout isn't full of shit boxes, but like Matsuri is.
Yeah, I think that's like
it's dodgem cars, just smash into each other.
Yeah, like the whole Ebisu thing is kind of like it's more like a training ground versus like the car show aspect of it. Like I would say there's a good chance that 90% of the people that rock up to an Ebisu Matsuri have a nice car somewhere, whether they're a foreigner or they're a local. They have a shit box that they don't care about, and they have a nice car. Yes.
So you're saying I need another Altezza?
Like a shitty one?
Mm.
No, it doesn't have to be that way. I don't follow that
train of thought.
No, both of my cars I would say are fairly presentable.
What's your? Oh yeah. Oh, the S14's nice, and your. Well, I mean, if you were to compare them, then the S14 is a shitbox compared to my.
Oh yeah, the one my 180 works. You know, everything works. There's nothing that is just like yeah, whatever. The S14 is
a little bit whatever.
Yeah, it's a little more
the aircon works though.
Yeah, the aircon works, but I don't have that in my 180s. Yeah, my friend Isidro made a really good infographic a few years back about like the necessities to get into drifting, and it was very like minimalistic, but like to the point. You know, like seat, steering wheel.
The seat makes such a difference because
if
you can't maintain your seating position, then being able to control the car
isn't going to happen.
No. Especially if you get bumped, you move around and your foot comes off the accelerator.
Yep.
That alone could put you into a wall.
Yep.
Because you're not controlling the accelerator anymore.
Exactly. Other than that, I mean, the rest is all preference, I guess. I would like to see everybody have a nice, presentable looking car. I don't like the
We don't like missiles.
No. That shit's a bit played out. I feel it fits a certain category of drifter, especially in America. Like people will literally just build a shitbox because they think that's all they need, and it's kind of like the thing I was explaining to you yesterday, the culture vulture thing. Like that, I kind of put that in the same category. Like
people with missiles,
just a missile. Yeah, you just. Like, I understand it serves a purpose, but like, you're missing the point. Like,
Who decides what the point is?
I guess, like, history. I would say if the people in the 90s who kind of planted the seeds of drifting saw, like, maybe the people who can't see anymore, people who have passed on, shit like that, saw, like, missile culture, they'd be like, what the have we done? You know, what did you guys do? You know, and I kind of feel the same way.
No, really. Who's the crash king that would destroy his aero every thing? Who was that?
Yeah, but he would come back and...
Oh, true. He'd come back with fresh aero.
That's Haraguchi. Yeah, he would always come back with a clean car.
Yeah,
so
true.
You know, and yes, crashing is a part of it, but you should always strive to...
Repair it. Well, maybe seat time is more important than repairing.
And that is the common argument for it. Oh, well, all I care about is the seat time. Well, again, you're missing the point.
You have to look good.
Yeah, I think your car should look halfway decent. I'm not saying you need to have a $20,000 paint job on your car and $10,000 aero and $5,000 wheels. You don't need all of those things.
I think the drifting thing is such a popularity contest all the time that, you know, if you can actually genuinely not because of the cred of driving a missile, but if you can genuinely be happy and enjoy yourself with a missile, then that's what you should do, because to me seat time is the most important thing. Now, after taking my car off the road for so long, I regret going to ITBs, because how much better a driver would I be had I just stuck with it and just learnt to go faster.
Yeah, and that's a very common thing that happens. Like I said before, people get caught up in a build.
Yeah.
I gotta build. I gotta do the build. I started drifting with 150 horsepower and a welded diff and a seat.
In a light car.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in a heavy one.
Still.
Yeah.
I still did it with nothing.
Yeah, and I was doing it too. I think I was doing pretty well for what I had.
You were. I think you should have just stuck with it.
Should have stuck with it. Gone to Nico a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then maybe now, after having all that experience, throw a turbo on it. Is probably what I should have done. And the ITBs, at the end of the day, are probably just going to be
a noise machine.
A noise machine that people go, wow, at. Take photos with their cigarette packets next to it. 52 millimeters, like that. I don't know. I mean, they're saying, how much horsepower does my car make normally?
I think
100 and something horsepower.
The crank rating is like 200.
Are you sure?
It might be like 190.
Okay. The Panic have got a 200 horsepower club. If you break 200 horsepower, they'll send you a sticker. So, and that's with the 3S. So I'm wondering if it's less than that.
Maybe. I think that 200 horsepower comes from wheel horsepower.
Maybe. Well, it's calculated anyway, right?
Yes. I would say your car, once it's finished and tuned and
I hope it cracks 200.
Definitely should.
Really? With the cams?
Yes.
Hope so. You want to guarantee it, but not disappoint me.
Well, I can't guarantee it, but I strongly believe it will. I know
nice.
somebody who has the same setup in their car, so same cams and everything. It should crack 200. Plus, you guys have better fuel here than we have, and he is on our pump, and your pump gas is better. So stick that feather in your cap.
His car moves, mine doesn't. Stick that feather in his cap. I am ready to get on the beers. Are you ready to get on the beers?
I still got a bit of a headache going.
You need to drink more.
Water?
Yeah.
I've been...
you had a coffee. That's a dehydrating thing.
Yeah.
You had a little sip of Monster. That's all that caffeine. You didn't need that either.
Nah, I just wanted to wake up a little bit.
Yeah. This isn't going in, but...